I'm about to tell you why Trevor Lawrence, this man right here, the law dog,
T-Law.
I'm about to tell you why he's headed to the moon in 2023. I'm about to tell you why he's going to score over 40 total passing touchdowns in 2023. I'm about to tell you why this man just became a moon man.
The moon man, dropping loads in outer space.
Welcome to the Moon Man Squad. T-Law, Law Dog.
Space Monsters.
Space Monsters, indeed. The fantasy football show, Trevor Lawrence, T-Law, Law Dog edition begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty. Take a lap.
The Law Dog had a great year in 2022. 4,000 yards, 25 TDs, 8 INTs, 17 games. Only 8 INTs is a real impressive number. But I think people don't realize the kind of leap forward he's going to take. And I know it's a tall order to be like, let's get 40 passing touchdowns after a 25 touchdown season. Smitty, this is going to be his third year. How is he going to leapfrog 25 touchdowns to 40? Even if we pretend Calvin Ridley wasn't added to the arsenal, even if we pretend that Trevor Lawrence isn't going to get better and better and better, keep in mind that the offense is going to get better. This was the first year Trevor Lawrence got to really get deployed in a very good offensive scheme. Because if you remember, his first year was under the command of a head coach that didn't know what he was doing. It was a disaster in Trevor Lawrence's first year. And what I said back then was true, that 2022, his sophomore year, Trevor Lawrence, would probably be a reset year. Getting a new staff after Urban Meyer completely flamed out, ruined the entire offense, ruined the upside of T-Law for that rookie year. That rookie campaign was a waste. Last year was kind of like T-Law's rookie year. Same thing for Etienne. Etienne didn't play a single snap during his rookie year in 2021. T-Law and Etienne essentially had rookie years in 2022. And for that reason alone, being more comfortable and in command of this offense in 2023 is probably going to lead to this number creeping up into the 30, 31, 32 territory. Just by default, just by knowing the offense, getting better in the offense, getting more comfortable. But all the players around T-Law are going to level up his game even further. He's got Calvin Ridley coming in, a guy who claims he's going to have 1,300 yards receiving in 2023. And I believe him.
To the moon.
Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Etienne. Yes, Etienne will receive more in 2023. This whole notion that Etienne's story's been told already is crazy to me. I agree there's risk involved with Doug Peterson, who runs running back by committees. He wanted more RBs in the RB room. He brought in Tank Bigsby. He's verbalized that he wants to dial back Etienne in terms of running the ball, which might alarm a lot of us. And let's be honest, you need to be worried about that. But who is to say Etienne's not going to flourish in the PPR game? Who's to say that Etienne, this man who ran 19 times for 103 yards in week 15 against the Dallas Cowboys, 83 yards on 22 totes against the Jets, 108 and a touchdown on just 9 carries against the Texans, week 18, no, he sat. Don't count that week. Week 20 in the playoffs against the Chargers, 109, and then against the Chiefs, 10 carries for 62, 6.2 a pop and 1 TD. This is Travis Etienne we're talking about. Who's to say this man can't just turn into an absolute PPR machine?
Well, Smitty, you didn't last year.
I get it. That's a concern. And I don't like that Peterson's talking about dialing back the one category, the rushing category of Etienne, when he hasn't become a PPR machine already in 2 seasons. Hey, Smitty, Etienne hasn't done anything for 2 seasons in the PPR game. How can you expect him to do anything now, Smitty? Well, he didn't exactly do nothing last year. He caught 35 passes for 316 yards. He just had no receiving touchdowns. But anybody that was paying attention last year, they remember that Etienne left 2022 probably with the most touchdowns and opportunities missed in all of fantasy football. And not in ways you can exactly measure, too. James Robinson, beginning of the year, took a whole lot of work from him. A lot of running touchdowns. A lot of touchdowns were left on the table because of that transition of James Robinson to Etienne. Etienne would rip off a run, and JaMychal Hasty would come into the game. Remember that 50-plus yard scamper JaMychal Hasty ripped off right when Etienne got him in a position position. Things like that happened all the time. 3 or 4 goal line carries that would be blamed on Etienne, and everybody does blame them on Etienne, but he get hit by a defensive lineman before he even got to the line of scrimmage and get swarmed. Wasn't his fault, but he get 3 or 4 carries, wouldn't work out, and then everybody says he's not a goal line back. He's not a traditional goal line back, but he's a creative, solid player near the goal line that you need to use properly, and they didn't. Now, Tank Bigsby's going to be the goal line back most likely. He's a big dude. We got to kind of let go of the idea he's going to be a between the tackles goal line back, Etienne. But could he be handed a draw play on the 5-yard line? Will they throw the football to him near the goal line? Absolutely. My prediction, and I know this is turning into an Etienne video, but my prediction, who we're cautious about, and I need to pump the brakes on Etienne to some degree and make sure we're all drafting Etienne in a place where your risk is protected and baked in, which is the 3rd round, mid-3rd round. I feel comfortable with Etienne mid-3rd round. I don't feel comfortable with Etienne any earlier because what I'm about to say here, we can't guarantee is going to happen. And for a smart fantasy owner, you got to play the odds game. The odds are, in my opinion, whatever Etienne loses in rushing yards in 2023, he will gain back and some in additional PPR work. And why am I talking about Etienne so much? Because part of why I see this man's numbers increasing from 4,100 yards to, let's say, 4,800 yards, but more importantly, 25 touchdowns to 40, that is a big jump because his running backs will be catching more footballs. Etienne specifically. Ridley will be there catching footballs. And this man will also be taking a big step forward. And his offense will also be taking a big step forward. All sum total, this man's going to throw for 4,500. Let's call it 4,500 plus, but he definitely is capable for 4,800. 38 to 40 passing touchdowns. Let's start there. And keep in mind that the Law Dog ran for 5 touchdowns. So expect another 300 rushing and 4 or 5 on the ground. So even if somehow he only throws for 36, 37 touchdowns through the air, he's getting you 40 plus because he's running for 4 or 5. But I think he could throw for 40, run for 4, score, let's say, 44 total touchdowns in 2023. Let's give him 8 to 10 INTs because he's efficient. The Law Dog has made the Moon Man list for a reason, and I couldn't be more excited to own him in 2023 at what seems like steal territory at what looks like 63 overall value. QB number 8 for those that can count. That puts him at top 6 round value. You can get him in the 6th round and get potentially a 40 to 44 total touchdown quarterback in 2023. That can absolutely send you to the moon, and it can absolutely win you a league.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Trust the Law Dog. Put your hands in the Law Dog in 2023. People clearly aren't because he's going at the top of 6. He's going at the top of the 6th round, and he could be a top 5 quarterback. If you miss out on Burrow in round 4, which is my biggest win a league approach in 2023, if you miss out on Burrow, trust in the Law Dog in round 6. He won't let you down. T-Law, you are, my friend, Smitty Approved.
You've just been Smitty Approved.
Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com for all your year-round rankings, bold predictions, one-on-one text advice, you name it, thefantasyfootballshow.com. And know that I am live whenever news breaks. I'm also live 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. And I do drafts, live drafts, best ball drafts, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every single week, midnight Eastern. Easy to remember. Hey, Smitty, when you drafting? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Hey, Smitty, we drafting tonight? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, midnight Eastern. Daily uploads, Tuesday night, Panic Chamber at midnight. Now get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.